Welcome to another episode of Prattle with Tré Vayne for connoisseurs of casual conversation. Now, usually each week my guests and I will chit-chat about an obsession of theirs that captures their interest and their soul. But this episode, our guest is a household name who was once the most famous person on the planet and has touched all our lives. Ms. Rona. Yep, y'all, Miss Coviesha got me again, but the grind never stops, and this week, Santa's not the only one who slays. Oh, honey, tuck in for a good time, because we're taking a peekaroo into my most beloved show of all time. Yes, God, mama, let's get sickening! Oh, let's go. Okay, everybody, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Prattle with Tré Vayne. Damn it, COVID done got me again. They got me, gal. COVID, yeah, this is my second time having COVID. Thankfully, it's not a crazy symptomatic situation, but it's actually so annoying. Actually, at point of recording, it's literally Christmas Eve, and I got it 5 days ago, and I've been like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna have to spend like COVID alone. I was like, actually stressed about it, but thankfully I'm feeling good. Most thankfully I'm testing negative, so I'm getting my ass on a train and getting out, but had to do this episode before I meant to. We missed a week, super annoying, but I didn't even think about filming in my room, which is so cool, by the way. We are in my house, we're in my apartment. It's actually funny that I also have a blue couch. Sorry that the background's a little jank. This is my little movie wall. I never decorate anything, so I went to decorate my wall. Tell me why I picked the darkest pictures known to man, like the darkest pictures in cinema. You can't see it, it's bad, whatever. I have to redo it. But I basically forgot that I have like a little studio in my house. So I am on my phone. I am recording on this mic. So we're hoping that everything's up to par. But the quality is going to be a little bit different this week. But I really, really wanted to do this episode, and I already wrote it out. So I was like, okay, might as well just go for it. Also, before we start, I just want to say, y'all, thank you so much for the response on the first solo episode last episode when I talked about death and really shared my life story. So I really appreciate it. I've gotten like the best, most amazing response. And I love y'all and I really appreciate it. Also, I always forget, please make sure to like and subscribe, rate this 5 stars wherever you can hear me, wherever you're consuming this. Please make sure to give us the best of the best on the like, comment, subscribe situation wherever you are. So like the last solo episode was like dark and heavy and like crazy. So I knew I wanted this one to be like so fun. And I literally could not be more excited to fucking talk about the best thing in the world. So today we are talking about the best program on television, the best idea, the single best idea anyone on this earth has ever had. Better than electricity, better than your fucking sliced bread. Nothing beats RuPaul's Drag Race, the best show in the queendom. I love Drag Race so much. I'm a big fan of Drag Race. I was an instant fan of Drag Race. And I am so excited to chat about it today. Okay, so Drag Race, right? For anyone out there who might not have seen it or might not have, if you haven't delved deep into the art and the world of drag yet, why should you watch Drag Race? What makes it such an amazing show? It has everything. Like, it literally has everything, right? So it's like, it's a TV show, right? So you have like nice little weekly episodes of the last seasons, but glitz, there's glamour, there's drama, there's so much heart, there are human stories, there's triumphs, there are comeback kids, there are underdog stories, there are stories where someone walks in the door and you know they're gonna crush the whole time and they do. There are fucking winners. There are people who know, like, people with a point of view. It literally has everything. I'm obsessed with it. There's drama on the screen, there's drama off the fucking screen. The people have drama with each other, they have drama with production. Like, it's everything. Every single thing you need, they have. Also, one of the most glorious morsels about Drag Race is that when the mainline US show's happening, the complete deluge, cascading waterfall of content that happens is the best thing ever. Because it's like, okay, Friday happens, right? The episode comes out, you get to watch the episode. The watch party is always so fun if you get to go to a bar, whatever. And the next day, the official recap, the What You Packin' and Pit Stop. No, Pit Stop's probably first, but like What You Packin' and Pit Stop come out. Then you hear a recap show, and then you hear the Eliminated Queen. Then a couple days after that, you can get into your like Drag Race Queen supplemental content sort of all-stars. So you have your sibling watcheries, so Bob Monet do a recap show. You have your race chasers, so Alaska and Willem do a recap show. You have your I Like Deja Analysis. Deja does the lip syncs after. I love Nina's Raw View. She's a little problematic, but I love her. We're also, earmark that. We are going to talk about problematicness and the drag community. That's a big part of the conversation. But I just love all the little different things. Like after you watch the show, you have content coming out literally every day that's about the same thing. And I love tucking into a piece of content. Like I just love when, just total obsession. So Drag Race really fucking helps with that. But even beyond that, like I said, I like to delve like deep into like the content holes and the content like whirlpools. But I am actually not that quick to become a fan for especially TV shows. I stand a lot of music. Like I'll be into a music artist with knowing only 2 songs. Like I watch a lot of movies all the time, but I am not adventurous or very intimate. That's the wrong word, but I don't have a lot of TV shows that I love a lot. Or to say that I don't love a lot of TV shows a lot. I have a few throughout my life where like I find a TV show and it becomes like my everything. So it's just very special. And Drag Race is one of those things. And I think it was one of those things because it was like Road to El Dorado. Like when I like saw Drag Race, it was like, oh my God, like there's this entire new world out there that I'd never experienced before. And obviously part of why people love Drag Race so much is because it is like the first little gateway into gay life for like queer life. Not gay life. I'll say specifically gay men life because again, we'll get into it more. Drag Race also has a lot of it's definitely a program designed by and for the cis gay male gays. Gaze and gays. Hello. So, but like, you know, as a cis gay man, when I found the show, I was like literally like a fucking cheat sheet of gay culture right there. And when I first started watching the show, my favorite thing to do was like every time they would make a reference, every single little reference, I would pause the show, I would get on my little phone and I would Google everything. And that literally is how I've learned so much of my foundational queerness. Like it's how I learned about Stonewall. It's how I learned about like, especially terms, like all of like every word they've ever said that I was like, wait, what the hell? I remember it like took me like 2 years to even understand what trade means. Obviously now I realize that like people misuse the words a lot. But it was just so exciting and so amazing. And I was so delighted when I first found it. And like that discovery, that sort of air of discovery is so exciting. I think I still feel that. That's why like I love Drag Race so much. In line with Drag Race being the first queer touch point for a lot of people, that brings up a lot of problems. I don't think they're real problems, but that people end up having a lot of problems with that because I think what's ended up happening is when it first came out, right? Like, I think it's kind of like in waves. Like, the first wave of Drag Race was like season 1 through season 5, right? That's like the people who really knew about drag were into it. It was truly like a drag queen show. Right? And then I would say season 5 and 6 is when it started to really break into just general gay culture. So I started watching season 5 and I'm sure I just saw like enough GIFs and enough, that's how I watch any TV show. I'm sure I was on Tumblr and in middle school or high school and I saw enough GIFs or enough funny clips that I was like, okay, I have to see what the show's about. And season 5 was the first season that I watched and is the greatest season. It is still my favorite season. It is literally the best season. Like Jinx Monsoon, Velasca, Toxic. It's just the best. We know this. Coco Montrese, Alyssa Edwards. Come on. Okay, so that's like the first phase. And I think like season 6 through season 9, very short phase, but also a very distinct phase where I think a lot of younger people were starting to come in and it was starting to become like the true beast that it is. And then season 9 on, when it went to VH1, it's just like obviously a whole new ball game. So I feel like it was in the first like era, right? It was just seen as like this great, amazing landmark show that it is. And the second era, that's when I think that's when the fandom started, like from season 7 to 9 is when the fandom started to gain like a real deep consciousness. This is like when All Stars was starting out. This is when like the show started becoming like so self-referential. So somewhere in this sort of second era of Drag Race is when I think I started noticing a lot of the what's the word? I'd say overcriticalness that I think the Drag Race experiences. So I think Drag Race is a very loaded show. It's a very important show. And I think that in recent years, people have been just weirdly and annoyingly like really dismissive about its impact and its like reach. And I think it's actually because the show got so big and massive influential that people can't like handle it. So that's kind of what I was saying about it being a queer touch point. Because in the beginning, I feel like it was like such a beautiful, people all thought it was a great, amazing, necessary queer touch point. And now I feel like people are kind of villainizing Drag Race as like, oh, like it's not doing the work that it needs to do in terms of all the communities in the queer community. Oh, it's like, basically it's like it's perpetuating all these bad, watered down queer stereotypes and that kind of stuff. I think one of the main instances is the conversation in recent times about nogging. Now, let me be very clear. I am not a member of the ballroom community and I'm not a member of the drag community. So this is just as a observer. So I'm not, the judge, jury, and the executioner. But as the world has gotten a wave of ballroom culture being pushed forward and celebrated, we love. That's obviously came to Drag Race. And in the recent couple seasons, there have been a lot of drama between different queens. Specifically, it's last season, season 15, this queen Anitra, who is this amazing dancer, and she got really famous. Her like signature move on the first episode, they do a talent show, and her talent number had like this line that was like, "You better walk that fucking duck," and she was duck walking. And if you're unfamiliar with Drag Race, the rule is if something hits, you will see it. If something hits once, you will see it for the rest of your fucking life. You know what I mean? Like you can tell immediately. And the show now has like this, they have like a system of trying to make these little moments happen. And when they do, whatever. Anyway, so this was a moment. Everyone loved Walking the Duck. So basically the whole season was, people kept talking about Walking the Duck. And every time Anitra had the opportunity to, you best believe she walked that fucking duck. And she got Aja, who is an iconic queen from season 9. And Aja is an actual member of the ballroom community and basically called out Anitra for nogging, which is bad voguing, essentially. And Vanessa Hudgens came on the show at one point and she was like, "I'm just so into voguing right now." So basically, like, there was a point where everyone was like, "Ugh, Drag Race is perpetuating like incorrect information about the ballroom community." Okay. Y'all, let's think about this, right? So this is interesting, right? Now that Drag Race has come to a place where it is so mainstream, it's just mainstream, right? Drag Race now is played with all of these types of, in my opinion, small arguments. They don't mean that much, in the sense that like the charge is that, oh, Drag Race is irresponsibly presenting the ballroom community. I don't really see that. Like, Drag Race is putting it on TV, and then I think it's up to you to do the work to like figure that out later. You know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of going to be the through line of like what I think about all of the controversies of Drag Race. Because I think Drag Race is far less problematic than a lot of people like to paint it as. And I think it gets just fucking reamed with criticism because it's like the biggest thing. And it's like kind of the only, well, it's not really the only thing, but it is the only, it's like the biggest, most lasting, living queer contribution, like, in the past 20 years. Like, is that wrong? Like, let me think about that. Outside of music, right? Music is its own thing, but there's no other more impactful TV show queer TV show. So I think that's why it gets all of the heat. Because it's like, is it perfect? No. Is it sinister? Absolutely not. And I feel like people have this like idea that it's like this sinister thing that's like just like bad faith queers just making money just to make money, which I don't think so. But also I do, let's be real, it is a show and a business. So I'm not like, whatever. And that's the other thing that like, that's the thing that makes me like so angry about how sometimes people interact with Drag Race. Like sometimes they treat it as like it's this like non-profit charity for like wayward queer youth when it's literally a competition reality TV show. Like it's a produced competition TV show, and I think that's why a lot of the critiques of Drag Race like just are invalid, because people are asking it to be something that it's not. It's literally just a TV show. Like people act like Rue needs to be Mother Teresa, like looking after every single one of the contestants, where it's like, no, Rue is just the CEO. Rue signs the checks. Rue signs off whether you're on the show or not. Like that's Rue's job. And I think Rue does a really, really great job at it. And it's like, I really don't mean to be like a RuPaul apologist, because like Rue has absolutely, in Drag Race, they've absolutely made some incredible missteps. Like one of the most glaring ones being that it was a show that was not kind to trans performers at all. There was like a segment that had a very transphobic name that they eventually swapped out, and RuPaul like at one point came on record being like, oh, like I don't want trans women performers on the show because it ruins the illusion. So Rue's definitely made some left comments about the trans community that I think that, you know, Rue has addressed, and has more than addressed, like just with words, has shown his commitment, because he did try at first to do a little apology, but he tweeted out this like green and yellow flag, and someone was like, what flag is that? And then through some sleuthing, people realized that he Googled trains flag instead of trans flag, and there's some sort of green and yellow. So that was bad. That's awful. But I think consistently in the recent seasons, RuPaul has shown his commitment to uplifting and celebrating trans performers, most notably being Sasha Colby being the winner of the last season. All the critique is invalid, but I really do feel very deeply, very strongly that so much of the critique is people unfairly discounting RuPaul's contribution to queer culture and culture in general. Like, we will not be able to understand and see and feel and grasp the effects that Drag Race has had on society, like, until we're gone. You know what I mean? Like, thinking about how much it changed. Like, I think about something even so simply as, like, Drag Race made drag queens cool, which isn't even that simple. Like, it was like, that's like a really massive thing. And now it's like drag queens on daytime TV, and drag queens on like collabing with famous YouTubers, and drag queens in like country stars music videos. Like and also like the effects are crazy, and like we won't be able to trace it. So that's why I feel like I get so intense when people try to be like, oh, RuPaul's just some old broad, like, you know, who didn't do anything. It's like, we can't even imagine, because we have this great gift of Drag Race. We actually can't imagine how crazy it is to think that like a person who is a drag queen could host a show and become the most winningest host in Emmy's history being a drag. Like, that's so crazy. That's so crazy. And that's my mother. Like, Ru fucking did that. Okay? RuPaul did that. And again, with the show that keeps giving, like, it produces further icons who do things further down the line. So, like, the shows produce people like Bob the Drag Queen, Trixie Mattel, Sasha Velour. Like, those three people alone are changing drag every day. Like, so, like, every time people try to be like, RuPaul doesn't do anything for the queer community, RuPaul doesn't contribute, or isn't, like, I don't know, like, isn't literally a living legend and one of the best, like, queer icons we have living, working today, it really grinds my gears, because when Ru dies, I know it's like Ru's gonna be immortalized. Like, people, like, it's just, people are gonna get it then, but motherfuckers need to get it now, because RuPaul is still one of the funniest, most exciting, interesting entertainers on the planet, and doing it at 60 plus, baby. I love RuPaul so much. Like, Ru is like actually my everything. Like, Ru is my, like, Sometimes on TikTok, when I post videos, people will call me RuPaul, and that is like literally makes my day every single time it happens. It also makes my day that people don't say like fat RuPaul. I feel like on TikTok people like to be like nasty and shady. So I'm glad that people just say like RuPaul, like you ain't slick. So I do appreciate that. Like we gotta give RuPaul her wax, but we gotta give her flowers. Like, and I think she's taken the wax, and I think she's like changed. I really don't think she's that problematic anymore. Like she has not been that problematic for like a couple years, in my opinion. But I'm a bad barometer of problematicness though, because I'm a fan of celebrity in general, and I feel like when you're just a fan of like people who do things, I don't know, like when you're just a fan of famous people, or you're just a fan of fame in general, like I just have a low bar for what someone can do that will piss me off, honestly. I don't know if that is like a good thing or a bad thing, because I do think people are like I think people jump the gun a lot. Like I feel like a lot of things can be situations, not like defining moments. And I feel like everyone tries to make every situation a defining moment when it's not. Like sometimes it can be like, oh, this person did this weird thing. But it's honestly just about, you have to have what you like, what you don't like. You have to have things that you accept, you don't accept. And when people cross those, you have to cross them from yourself. But like, I don't really believe in any widespread sort of like, this is not to comment on cancel culture, by the way. I say this thing, like I think I've said it on the podcast before, but I have this thing, I like call it like my secret Republican beliefs. And like my secret Republican tendencies like really jump out when it comes to famous people. Like I just won't get that mad. I just won't get that mad, and I won't get that hurt when someone does something problematic. Like I really don't. I also don't think that, I think we're also past the point in society where it's like, I think we're at a point, and this is kind of, maybe we're not, because like obviously like never rely on the intelligence of others, but we're at a point in life now where everyone knows what, like, people know. You know what I mean? Like, people know when they do things that are messy. People know when they're doing something wrong. So I think that's why I'm less, like, intense about, you have to correct this. Like, really, we have to call this person out. Because it's like, everyone knows. And, like, when people, like, say crazy stuff, or when people mess up a little bit, like, they know. So I'm, like, not that mad about it. Because also, most of the time, people are pissing people off to make money. So I just don't see the point of being that pissed off when someone does something that wrong. Like, obviously, if someone's like racist, or actually not even obviously, but like even like if someone's like racist or nasty, I feel like I can just be like, okay, that person's racist and nasty, and move on. Like I don't need that much. I don't need like their world to crumble for me to like feel like that. You know what I mean? I don't know, because not that anyone really gets consequences anyway, but that's neither here nor there. RuPaul's a perfect angel, and I love him. Also, something about RuPaul that I love, like, the story. I'm obsessed. I'm a sucker for a good rags to riches, truly, like, I wanted to be famous and I made it kind of story. And RuPaul really has that. Like, he started out in Atlanta doing, like, really, like, gender fuck drag. He was a part of this, like, alternative rock band called Wee Wee Pole, then just made a name for himself in Atlanta, and then he just moved to New York City, and then made a name for himself in New York City, and then obviously like was a recording art. He still is a recording artist, and just it's just so cool to think about like the gall, the vision, the determination, the just life force it takes to try to make it work and work and work and work for something, and not even get your biggest moment until you're in your 50s. Like, that is so inspiring to me. And RuPaul had, like, everyone always says that RuPaul had, like, a moment in the 90s and then hibernated and then came back for Drag Race. But, like, yeah, I just really respect her so much. If you ever have time on YouTube, oh my gosh, just type in like RuPaul 80s like vlog basically, and he was friends with this guy named Nelson who literally pioneered vlog, which is so cool to think, right? Like, this was in New York City in the 80s. No internet, no like texting, like and Nelson was in this bohemian like artist space where they were all living in New York City and like all just like being young artists in the truest sense of the word, like with no, that's also what part of I'm like getting carried away. Basically Nelson, long story short, Nelson, who's friends with RuPaul and Lady Bunny and a lot of drag artists in the 80s, was like pioneering vlogging, was like had his little camcorder and would be like, okay, we're going out tonight, and like would interview people about what they're doing and just like follow people around. The most compelling videos ever, like ever. I can just like sit there and just like gawk and like stare because it's like RuPaul and this like, you know, making like, I don't know, $40 a night, and like there's this one video and he's like in this fucked up blonde wig and like his little cliffhanger shoes, and he was like, Nelson, I let the men touch me, isn't that horrible? And like, but it's also, it's like it's a couple, like it's cool because it's like, wow, like first of all, New York in the 80s just seems so literally seems like there was no other place, no other time that was like that. It just seems so interesting. It seemed really gay. Like everything just seemed very gay. Like I think obviously because it was like more intense to be. It was just like, ugh. Just seemed like it was a good gay old time. Obviously, the 80s was crazy to be gay, and you know, there was all these other stuff, but you know, like, and then it's like Rue is just so like unpolished and rough in the sense of like she's still gorgeous, obviously, but she's just like grinding, hustling, and like making that money, and yeah, those are like those are the best videos ever, and there's so many of them, and like. And it's not just RuPaul, like it's just like other people who are young and cool. Michael Musto is in there sometimes. Like it's just a cool glimpse, slice of life into New York City gay life in the 80s. Like it's just so cool. And seeing RuPaul in that light made me just like really respect her like 10 times more. Like I respect RuPaul so much because RuPaul is a worker. Like RuPaul is like I think RuPaul shares a very similar like no excuse. I think she shares a very similar life view to me because she shares about how through the 80s and 90s, she struggled a lot with substance abuse and like, you know, every jug under the sun kind of vibe, and like had this big near-death experience, and that really changed her, and she's been sober for like a really, really long time. And when you watch Drag Race, she has there's a lot of time for Rue to speak to, honestly, only the winners, like only the people who make it far into the competition. But she has, every season they have the Tic Tac Lunch, where it's like basically the final four have a sit-down interview with RuPaul and Michelle. And in these interviews, these are like really some of my favorite parts of the show because Rue gets to share her point of view and her like where she's coming from in life. And she has the most interesting, most amazing, solid advice ever. And it's kind of funny because I think the joke is that she doesn't, like, because she did one little, what's it called? Ad for Masterclass. And she goes, if you want people to take you seriously, wear a suit. And so people always make fun of, like, the suit thing. But RuPaul's a realist. And I feel like I respond to her well because I'm also, like, not in the technical term, but like in like the secret Republican behavior term, where people will come on the show and they'll falter and they'll fail. And they'll always have some sort of excuse that's like, well, when I was young, or, you know, I just wasn't, there's any excuse, right? And RuPaul, like my mom and like me, don't do excuses. Like RuPaul's advice is always like, think about what you want in life and just get it. Like RuPaul always talks about being happy in life. RuPaul always talks about not taking yourself too seriously and just doing it. And I love that. And like I really respond to that. And you can see that in Rue. And that's like, and also you can see that's the only reason why RuPaul is the biggest drag queen who's ever lived. And that's the reason why RuPaul is the most influential drag queen who ever lived, because Rue's about that action. Rue's about that fucking business, bitch. And I love her for that. Honestly, to get a little spicy, and I think it's something, that point of view, that outlook, it's something that the queer community needs. Because I think that, and less so now, I will say less so now. I feel like this was mostly like a 2010s moment into 2020, but I feel like COVID changed a lot. But I am not... I'm not here for the Tinder queer bullshit. I of course, if it's, I don't care, and I have no angst against people if that's just who they are. But the Tinder queer, like, that queer person who's like, and again, I don't want it to sound mocking because I feel like there's a time and space for this, and it feels like a disposition that comes out of trauma, but that sort of like, oh, like, my soft baby, like, I love you, like, let's take, like, our time, like, whatever you need, like, let me know what you need, like, if you need space to, like, process, and, like, I just, like, it's something about that, it just, like, what's the opposite of like scratching an itch? Like it just, ugh, like it makes me a little bit mad. And I think that Rue is very like the tender queerness like doesn't affect Rue either. And I feel like that's why I like her and her show and her responses, because a lot of people just like to like just get up there and like just cry and whine about things they can change, and like Rue just doesn't have it. And like I love that about Rue. I do. Like one of the things that happens a lot on the show from the fandom is that there's like every year there's like one queen who gets like bullied like within an inch of their life, literally bullied within an inch of their life. And that's awful, and that's horrible, that's sickening, that's awful, that's bad. It shouldn't happen. It's actually on the fans, so I don't know why people also act like that's like a drag race thing. It's like, why don't you like the drag race fans will be like so nasty and awful and be like, drag race, you do nothing to support the queens. Like, no, they like what, like that's on you. Like the hell, what the fuck does like a bunch of grown ass people on the internet like being rude to someone have to do with drag race? Like I don't like whatever. But there's always gonna be a queen that's like super disliked, and I feel like the tender queer like drag race fan response is always like, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Like everyone's so mean to you. But like the RuPaul realist response is like, okay, kid, like, you know, you got on TV, it didn't go well, like, hit the road, be gracious to everyone you meet, and, like, just change your image. Like, I don't know. And, like, I just feel like that's, like that tender queer versus RuPaul realist split, I think, is where a lot of the tension in the fandom comes from. But I'm Team RuPaul all the way. But like I said, I'm not a drag queen. I haven't been on TV yet. But, so I don't know. Like, I'm sure it's harder than just hit the pavement, girl. But that outlook can't hurt, so I do know that. Even though, like I said, I am not a drag queen. I am a burgeoning queen. I am a baby queen. I actually did drag for my birthday. And I was like, for the first time, and I was thinking, I was like, okay, I'm turning 27, one awkward fucking year. And I didn't know what to do. And I was kind of like, I'm kind of over the whole dinner and drinks kind of thing. It was fun, but I just wanted to do something different. I wanted to like do like, I wanted to have an event. I wanted to be like fun and fresh. I just wanted to switch it up. So I was like, oh my God, I should do drag. And I was like, okay, perfect. And I was like, well, I'm not going to just like dress up and like go to a club. Like that's just kind of weird. Like, I don't know. I wanted to be like something, and I wanted to perform, and I really want to perform because I think that drag is truly the coolest, most involved, most personal art form. Like I cannot think of like something else that is that beautifully you. And like you get to control everything, and it's like it really is so intoxicating because it's like you get to like microdose pop stardom. Like it's so cool. So I was really excited, and so I decided that I was going to enter a competition because I'm a banded ripper. So I wanted to hit the pavement, beat my face, and perform for the first time, and it was so fucking crazy and so stressful. I literally was like, I was about to cancel it because I was like, I also was like, okay, since it's gonna be like just in a bar, I'm just gonna invite like everyone I fucking know. So I was like, whatever, like I'm just gonna put the feelers out there, like whoever cares. Ended up sending out the feeler. 83 people were like, yes, I'll be there. And I was like, oh my God. So I was so nervous, and I made my own mix, and I made a cool the mix was we started off with Welcome to My Island, the Charlie XCX remix. And because I'm a New York queen, I was like, okay, I need to have like some spoken word in there. Also, for if you're not like a intense drag fan, drag has loose geographical stylings. So like the idea and the joke, not the joke, but it's just like a tendency, but it's not 100%. But like New York queens love like that, like when you like the adding a spoken word piece in the middle of a number. So it's like music, and then it's like, you know, a scene from something or a famous monologue or something. The LA queens are like more of the look queens who like don't perform. Again, there are so many queens who defy all these in all these cities, but LA girls are the look girls, like the Florida girls are like the pageant drag. So it's like, so I was like, I wanted to be a New York queen. I had to have some, so I was like, Welcome to My Island. I had a scene from Love and Hip Hop, Are You Fucking My Man? Yes, I am. Absolutely every single night, that one. I had New York's monologue. I want my eggs cracked, meaning I want a child. I want my name dropped, meaning I want to be married. So fun. And what are the songs? Love and War, Tamar Braxton. Oh, fucking love that song. And then No I Lay, by Caliuchis, because, also my drag name, which everyone loved. My drag name is Mia Moore. Mia Moore. So I had to put, and I speak Spanish. Thank you very much. I took Spanish for 11 years. So I do speak Spanish. So I had to put a Spanish language song in there to let people know that I know what I'm doing. And then we ended it off with the best, the iconic, the super bass. So it was the best night of my fucking life. Like, it literally was the best night of my life. The day came around. I didn't have any shoes because I actually bought, oh my gosh, I have props. I started off with these because I wanted to be Miss Pussy. Like, I wanted to be these like little strappy black stilettos. I just wanted to be the girl. I put them on. It was so scary. I put them on. I didn't put them on until the night before. I'm a last minute kind of bitch. But I didn't put them on until the night before. I stood up literally like it was as if I didn't have one bone in my body. Like, my legs went to jelly. I got scared because it was like it felt like my legs shut off. Like, my legs were like wobbling. It was crazy. So I was like, am I about to do this drag number in my fucking Vans? Like, I was like, what the hell? Like, I was so stressed. I couldn't believe I couldn't walk. I literally couldn't believe I couldn't walk in them. I was like, what the hell? But the day of, I was like, I have to do something. So like, I ran into Midtown and I got these Mary Jane platforms. And I did the number with these. So it was really exciting. I was like getting ready. It was a Monday night too, because I had to just find a competition that just lets you walk up and do it. So it was Monday night and I was like getting ready and I was like so late. I was running late, but then I show up to the bar and I'm in this like, I'm in black in one wig. By the way, okay, we'll get into that later, but I'm in this black, curly ringlet hair. No, not ringlet. I don't know what the words. Curly hair. This black curly hair. I'm in this gorgeous purple like satin situation. And I remember I walked into the bar and it was at Pieces Bar in New York. And it's not big. And this is my first time being in Pieces. And I was like, I wonder how all these people are going to fit in the bar. The answer is they didn't. I walk in. The bar is fucking packed. Like, there's no place to move. Like, there's no, like, you have to scoot, like, to go to any 2 points in the bar, you have to, like, scoot. It's literally packed to the brim. And then I started looking around, and I'm like, oh my God, like, these are, like, my friends. And it was so amazing, y'all. I literally can't overstate this enough. We packed out the fucking bar. Like, it was us. It was us and randos. It was amazing. And I saw all of my friends. I saw everyone. And it was like, I'm just like, it was the craziest moment every second. I was just like, I can't even believe I'm doing this. But I looked good. Like, I looked good. I went to MAC to get my eye makeup done because I couldn't figure that out yet. And I didn't cover my brows. I just used my brows. But I looked good and I looked pretty and everyone thought I looked pretty and it was so nice. And it was like so much fun. And then I went into the back. And the dressing room was so fucking scary. I was so scared for no reason, obviously. I just was like, I don't know. I felt so new. I felt so green. And I did meet some cool girls and I'm still following them. But I like didn't spend any time in the back because I was like just so nervous and embarrassed. And then we came out and like, y'all, I'm talking about like my cousin was there, my besties were there, people who I was like kind of close with at NYU were there, my people brought their friends, my coworkers came, my fucking boss came, like, it was so crazy. And then eventually it was my time to perform. Mind you, again, it's Monday night, and at this point it's like midnight. So I'm like feeling like so bad because I told people it was gonna be like 8:30. I didn't know how it was all gonna. I didn't know the timing myself. So, but I got up on that stage. I remember I was like behind the curtain. I was just like, It was like, because I had been a fan, think about this, like I'd been a fan of Drag Race since I was, I don't know, oh my God, like 10 years, yeah, since I was like 16, 17. So it was 10 years. Wow, it was 10 years of absolute obsession, of being enamored, of respecting the art form. 10 years of that. And I finally was gonna try it. And I only like, there wasn't a real, like, it wasn't like I was afraid to try drag. Well, that's not true. I was kind of afraid to try drag. Because like I said, or maybe I haven't said, but I was just not like, my sexuality in my family is like kind of weird because I'm like, I'm just like this, but I've never like said I was gay, but I never like felt like the need to say I was gay. And I was like, my aunt follows me on Instagram, and I was like, oh, like I know she's gonna like see me in drag, but I was like, you know what? I'm 27. I literally can't. I don't have enough energy to like adjust myself anymore. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like post it. Spoiler alert, I posted it, and like that was kind of the last. Wait, I have to get to that because I have to get to the whole thing. But spoiler alert, it was good. And okay, so I'm behind the curtain, and they're like, I hear my music, and I remember like I opened the curtain, and it was just like, like my friends' faces was like, it was the best. Like I was just like, oh my God, I felt like such a little superstar. And I did a whole mix. Like they said, you can do up to 5 minutes, and I made my own mix, and I did the whole 5 minutes, and it was just the best. Like in the moment, I wasn't there. I'm glossing over the whole thing. So I'm a baby queen, right? And I had been watching Drag Race for 10 years, so I kind of thought like I knew everything. And so I kind of thought I was ready. And then when I was getting ready, I was like, oh my gosh, there's actually so many more steps I forgot. And basically, yeah, the music starts. I'm killing it. I'm hitting it. I'm doing like a little number, like I'm doing the little moment in the beginning. And then I like, Welcome to My Island, bitch has this moment. It's like, welcome to my island, bitch. And I was okay, perfect. I was like, I'm gonna hit it. So I'm like, stare. Welcome to my island, bitch. Wah, woo. Immediately like slip on my dress. That was like the first slip. From that point on, there was a faux pas that happened every 5 seconds. But like everything came undone. Like wig fell off 5-6 times, no joke. Like every time, like gone. Mind you, Mr. I know everything about drag. Tell me why. What was on my head? I had taken clear tape. I have hair. Taking clear tape. I just did this. Boom, boom, boom. To clip it into. Put the wig on. That's it got to be. I'm performing. Full on. Like, and it just was not enough. And I knew that immediately. And I was like, oh God. Honestly, the most embarrassing part was as soon as it came off, the first point, I was like, it's like the queens probably saw, they were like, why does this girl have no fucking wig cap on and just clear it? Girl, anyways. So that came out. The way that my dress was, they had like little spaghetti straps. Again, baby queen, we're learning. Titties out, like just out. Like I don't know at what point they came out or how long they were out. No idea. I saw the video. Titties just out, girl. And it's so funny and so beautiful because my entire life, like literally my entire life, like I will, like I'm never shirtless, like ever. That's like my one thing. Like I'm not insecure like about almost anything. But like I don't ever like. I'm not like when I hook up with people, by the way, like I like take my shirt off. It's not like that. Like when it's the time, I don't mind. But like the idea of my friends, like a casual chat, like no, none of that. So if you would have told me before I started that I exposed my chest to my entire friends and my boss, I would have literally died and never done it. But when it happened, I think because it was like the context, I was just like, I was just like, oh no, me oh my. But so that actually like kind of helped and cured my fear of that. I mean, don't ask me to take my shirt off for you right now unless you're gonna fuck me. But that was kind of nice. Yeah, and then so we get to the number, but like I'm saying, all these things are going wrong, but like I'm still giving it, girl. I'm still in it, and I think it made people love it even more. And it was like kind of the perfect first performance because it showed that I had gusto. Like, and one of my coworkers brought her cousin or her friend, and she said after, well, first she said that my boss really respected when my titties came out. My hair came off and I kept going. But then she said her friend was like, now that's a performer. And that's what people could say all night. And so the people I didn't know in the bar, I will say, were so nice to me. And like, were like, everyone loved. It was the performance of the night. Everyone loved the performance. Everyone loved the performance. And then after it was over, it was a whole competition. And it was like a audience applause thing. And obviously I had like 3/4 of the audience. So I made it to top 2. And I was so nervous though, because the other girl, top 2, she was the nicest girl, named A. Cinnamon, that's her name. She was the nice girl, and she was literally incredible. She did like, what was it? Yeah, she was, did like a beautiful Part of Your World number into like she was actually incredible. And so I was nervous that like, because we got down to the final 2, and you could tell there's some people in the bar who like didn't want me to win, because like my performance literally was not as good as hers. Like my performance was like, you know, it was something to see, you know, don't miss it, but it was not like a winning performance. And we were down to the final 2, and they eventually were like, okay, like Sin, you're the winner, because they like they did like the applause thing, and I clearly got more applause. But then the host was like, okay, Sin, you're the winner, but Mia for packing out the bar and bringing everyone, because at some point, I forgot. I'm walking before I even perform, right? We walk in, we're treated to a treat of a lifetime. Candy Muse, Luxor, London, happened to be in the room. Their drag daughters were doing a show. They came through. I'm just chilling. I had been in the building for about only like 30 minutes. So I hadn't seen everyone, and I was just walking around. I hear on the mic, Candy Muse. I do a bad Candy Muse. Oh, I hear we have a birthday tonight. I don't do a good Candy Muse. I hear we have a birthday in the building today. I'm like, oh, birthday today, because it wasn't my actual birthday. I was like, oh, someone's birthday's today. I hear Candy Muse. Candy Muse starts going, happy birthday to you. I'm like, oh, happy birthday. And then I'm like, she's looking at me. I'm like, wait, is she looking at me? To you. I'm like, ah. And then she goes, happy birthday, Mia Moore. Woo! Candy Muse. Icon, legend, star Candy Muse sang Mia Moore. Happy birthday. That set it off. I was like, oh my God. That was amazing. The performance was amazing. The handsome men touch up on my hips through the neck was amazing. It was just a fun night. And I got tipped down. The girls tipped down, obviously, because it was a birthday show. And I had, like, collected all the money, and I went into the back. into the fucking dressing room. And I walk in. Okay, also, by the way, the queens were... I was so, like, weird and nervous, because when I first came, the queens go, are you the girl whose birthday it is? I'm like, yeah, because Katie Muse said just like, happy birthday to me. And they knew it was a applause-based show, and they're like, oh, so you brought all those friends, so you're the one who's gonna win tonight. Like, so there was already some energy, and I come back, and I have like literally like hundreds of ones, and I walk in, and all the girls are like just mad, just stank, and I was trying to like, they were in a bunch. I was trying to like flatten them out and count them in the back, but I got so nervous because they were like staring daggers. So I just shoved all the ones in my makeup bag and gave my makeup bag to my friend and was like, just keep this. It's like, get it later, because I was so nervous. But I will never be punked in a dressing room again, by the way. But I was just nervous. This was my first time. I had to like focus on it. But like I said, yeah, it was like, it really was the best day of my life. And like the next day when I was on the train going to work, I just started crying because I was like, oh, like I finally done something that I've been thinking about and wanting to do for so fucking long. And I just did. And I finally got, and then to have that much anticipation and to have it to be like the best thing ever. It was truly so special. Like I said, with my family, I was like so nervous. And I had told my mom before. I just said like literally the day before, I was like, by the way, I'm doing Drive on Road Day. Like I was just so nervous, and she was like, oh, interesting. And then my aunt, left a really nice comment. My cousin, who was like a straight basketball star, he left a really nice comment too. And then my mom eventually saw it. So it was cool. So it's like, it just feels amazing now to know that, I don't know, like my family doesn't care that much. And not that it really would matter that either way, because like, you know, I'm 27. I'm going to do it if I need to, but if I want to. But it just feels nice to know that it doesn't have to be like this weird thing. And it can be like, you know, something exciting and something that they like seeing. So I'm literally 2024. I want so much more drag. I buy a lot. Like I have like 3 pairs of shoes. I have like 6 dresses. I have like 4 wigs. I have it. So it's just about getting out there more and making a name for myself. So Mia Moore will be winning Drag Race within the next 5 years, and I'm really excited for that. But yeah, I just feel like there is this incredible, immense magic in drag. You feel like fully yourself, but also fully like a superhero. You feel like you can be anything, anyone, but you're just the best version of yourself, which I think is like the most beautiful part about it. So I love drag. I love drag. I'm obsessed with it. It's my fave, and I am so happy I did it, and I can't wait to do it even more. And I'm so happy to be in the age of RuPaul's fucking Drag Race. Like, this is the best show in the world. I literally feel like I couldn't even like breach a 2% of everything I needed to say. Like, we didn't even get to all the drag queens that I love, but I hope you watch Drag Race if you haven't before, and I hope to see you at a Mia Moore show with a $5 tip in your hand. Thank you very much. Catch y'all on the next episode of Prattle. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you later. With love, without COVID. Tré. Back rolls. It's dry. Kind of like your vagina, mama. Oh, honey. I'm not joking, bitch. You better walk that fucking gag them a bit. For sure. There's always time for a cocktail. Let me ask you a very valid question. What do you do successfully? Quickly. She left me at a bus stop. I think about you often. In the mornings. At the bus stop. Wrong queen, mom. You're perfect. You're beautiful. You look like Glenda Evangelista. I'd like to keep it on, please. Hi. Well, what you want to do is not necessarily what you're gonna do. Oh, Kennedy. Is that a read? Oh, God, I love this fucking show.